Lauren Sanchez's former yoga instructor is suing her, claiming that she stole her idea for a children's book, and the entire thing started with a dance battle over the song Boom Boom Pow. Welcome back to my channel, you guys, and by that, of course, I mean welcome to my channel for the first time, because this is my first ever YouTube video. I love a crazy celebrity lawsuit, and I think I found a really good one that I'm excited to share with you all today. This dispute between Lauren and her former yoga instructor, Alana Zabel, has been going on for a while now, and you probably are familiar with some of it, but Alana filed a new complaint last week, which has some very interesting new information in it. So I'm just going to take you through some of the complaint. So in 2006, Alana Zabel began teaching private yoga sessions in the home of Susie Schuster and Rich Eisen. I don't know who those people are, but maybe you do. The sessions became regularly scheduled classes, and sometimes other people would attend. One of those people was Lauren. So Lauren started taking private classes with Alana Zabel sometime between 2007 and 2008, and they ended up becoming close friends. The friendship was so close that Lauren used to tell her about her plastic surgeries, breastfeeding her kid, and intimate details about their relationship. Alana says that she also sometimes used the name Monica to refer to Lauren, and it was a fun personal nickname because Lauren had told her that she had a romantic interest in Bill Clinton after she met him in 2009.
I'm Lauren Sanchez, exclusive with the president, and I just want to say first, so how are you feeling?
Great.
And in 2008, Sanchez shared a story with Zabel about a helicopter flight Sanchez had been on where a fly remained stuck on the windshield outside the helicopter for the entire flight.
Fly got stuck in the cockpit, and we were all just like, he was buzzing around, and my kids were like, just think, this poor fly was at home and now is up in the air going, oh my gosh, it's a completely different world up here.
And knowing Zabel's history of writing children's books, Sanchez and Zabel discussed Zabel helping Sanchez write a children's book based on the experience. Now, remember that helicopter fly story because it's going to become a major issue later on.
I said this would make a great children's book.
According to Alana, she and Lauren were good friends until the Boom Boom Pow incident happened at Lauren's 40th birthday in 2009. And I'm just going to read to you directly from the complaint because, I mean, I really couldn't say it better myself. During the party, the song Boom Boom Pow began to play, and Sanchez called for Zabel to join her on the dance floor. Even though no one else was dancing, Zabel joined Sanchez on the dance floor. After all, it was Sanchez's birthday party. A significant number of the party attendees looked on as Sanchez and Zabel remained the only ones on the dance floor. As the dancing continued, the onlookers paid more attention to Zabel's dancing rather than to Sanchez. Parentheses, likely because Zabel's dancing outshined Sanchez. On information and belief, Sanchez grew frustrated with the attention Zabel was receiving. Eventually, Sanchez flicked Zabel away and turned her back on Zabel in a dramatic, humiliating way. Feeling deeply embarrassed, Zabel left the party immediately. First of all, I'm obsessed with the fact that Alana goes out of her way to clarify here that her dancing was much better than Lauren's, and that's why Lauren would have been jealous. I'm also obsessed with the imagery of Lauren flicking her away. Like, does that mean she went up to her and went, because I can picture that happening. Alana goes on to say the next day, Zabel drove to Sanchez's home to refund the remaining yoga sessions for which Sanchez had prepaid. Sanchez had previously purchased a 10-class package and 3 sessions remained unused. With the refund, Zabel informed Sanchez that she was quitting because she did not deserve to be treated the way Sanchez had treated her at the party. So Alana gave Lauren back her unused yoga classes because she was so upset about the flicking incident when they were playing Boom Boom Pow. And according to Alana, this whole Boom Boom Pow incident is what set the stage for Lauren trying to sabotage Alana over the whole book thing. So she says, on information and belief, Sanchez has harbored resentment towards Zabel since this incident and has sought ways to exact revenge. One way Sanchez did so was by copying Zabel's children's book, Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars, and infringing Zabel's copyright. Another thing that's important to note is that prior to the Boom Boom Pow incident, Zabel was already writing children's books, and so she had talked to Lauren about possibly partnering on something. Lauren told her the story about the fly clinging to the helicopter, and it's also important to note that at this point, spaceships have not entered the conversation. We're just talking about helicopters. That was Lauren's story. And in the complaint, it says, later, Sanchez expressed interest in partnering with Zabel and her company, As I Am, Inc. In 2009, Sanchez entered into an NDA with As I Am, Inc., which is owned by Zabel, to further discussions regarding a partnership to create create children's books, dolls, and toys, as well as other business opportunities. The NDA specifies no expiration. So basically, Alana and Lauren talked about doing business together, but obviously it didn't end up happening because the Boom Boom Pow incident soured everything. You don't want to work with someone who's flicked you away on the dance floor while Black Eyed Peas is playing. So from 2009 to 2019, Lauren and Alana are not hanging out anymore because of the Black Eyed Peas incident. But in 2019, it says, Sanchez visited Zabel's studio in Brentwood, California to attend a yoga class being taught by the girlfriend of one of Sanchez's friends. When Sanchez arrived, she saw a display of Zabel's books and expressed recognition and admiration for them. When Sanchez then saw Zabel behind the reception desk, Sanchez walked behind the desk to give Zabel a big hug. The two then spent a few minutes catching up until it was time for Sanchez's class to start. By this point, Lauren is with Jeff Bezos, and Alana decides to give her another chance because she says that she saw her at the yoga studio and felt like maybe she had changed. And in 2022, recognizing that Sanchez had become the vice chair of Bezos' Earth Fund, and in reliance on their previously signed NDA, Zabel reached out to Sanchez via email, text, and Instagram to share specifics about Zabel's book concept of a cat who flies to Mars, and suggesting they could donate proceeds from the book sales to the Bezos Earth Fund. She also reached out to Jeff about this and received a response stating that Jeff had received the email and had directed his team to assist, but she never got a substantial response from Lauren or Jeff, so she moved forward with her book and published Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars in December of 2022. It later became available for purchase on Amazon.com on March 23rd, 2023. So what I'm kind of curious about here is at this point, like how much contact Lauren and Alana were having, because it doesn't sound to me like after the run-in at the yoga studio in 2019, they became close friends, because if Alana is saying that she reached out to Jeff and Lauren through text and Instagram and other means, like you wouldn't do that with a close friend, you would just call them up. So here is where things really get messy. In early 2023, Lauren Sanchez announced her intent to release a children's book titled Flynn, The Fly Who Flew. On information and belief, Sanchez claims the inspiration for this children's book came from her experience with a fly that flew with her on a helicopter ride. This is consistent with the concept that Sanchez had shared with Zabel years earlier, but rather than follow Sanchez's original concept and story, Sanchez changed the book's storyline to instead concern a fly who goes to space. Not helicopter, space. Not only is this similar to Zabel's book about a cat who goes to space, which had been published prior to Sanchez's announcement, but when Sanchez's book is released, the story largely mirrored Zabel's story. So Lauren's space fly book is released in 2024 and ends up making it onto the New York Times bestsellers list, and Alana's book never made it onto that list. Alana claims that the story from Lauren's book is taken almost exactly from her book, and she even has this chart detailing like all the different plot points that she claims are stolen, and she includes some pictures where there are like side-by-sides of which pages were similar. So let's look at them and see what we think. And this side-by-side is going to be important because Alana says she does not simply allege to have a copyright in just the basic concept of an animal flying to space. Her copyright does, however, include all original expression that Alana contributed to her book. She goes on to say that Sanchez chose to follow Zabel's book scene for scene, plot point by plot point, and page by page. The level of similarity between the two books could not have occurred without copying the original expression in Zabel's book, Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars. The first side-by-side is of the two characters from the respective books arriving back home. And in this first one, which is from Lauren's book, it says, I fly to my mom first and she gives me a huge hug. Everyone is so excited to hear what I saw. And then there's this picture of the fly hugging the parents. And then in Dharma Kitty, it says, Pradia's parents were very relieved and grateful that she returned safely, while researchers at the Academy investigated how Pradia and Dharma Kitty were able to travel to Mars. And she is there hugging her parents. I mean, I'm not familiar enough with children's books to know, like, is that uncanny? I don't know. And then this next side-by-side is from the final 2 pages from each book, in which the main character is presented an award by a hand in one and with a handshake in the other while others watch. In the fly one, it says, all that daydreaming and exploring paid off. The astronauts even gave me my own astronaut wings. Me, Flynn the Fly. I'm a real astronaut now. Now I realize it's okay to daydream and wander a little. You never know where your dreams will take you. And in the first one, he is being handed a set of wings by a fist. And then in the next one, he's doing like this. And then in the Dharma Kitty one, it says Pradya became the youngest female to be awarded with India's National Medal of Honor for her advances in science. Dharma Kitty was also awarded with the National Medal of Honor. Pradya's family and all of the As I Am girls were present for the ceremony, presentations, and celebrations. And she is shaking the guy's hand. So I guess Alana is saying that like the handshake is similar to like a hand presenting the fly with wings, which I honestly think is kind of a stretch. Like, so hands are involved. Like, obviously things need to be handed. But I guess the concept of like an award is similar. And then on the second page of the Dharma one, it says, after a full and exhausting day without a catnap, Dharma Kitty began to yawn as he stretched out on the podium. Yet Pradya felt no fear at all and said she grew excited at the possibility of adventure with her sound-traveling yogi pet cat. Where should Pradya and Dharma Kitty travel to next? Okay, so I mean, they end with kind of like hopeful sentences. And then in the Dharma one, her fists are like this. But to be honest, I don't think that's that similar. Like in the Fly one, he's doing this, like pointing to himself. I don't know. According to Alana, these side-by-sides are extremely important because she says the level of similarity between these two books, it's not possible for The Fly Who Flew to Space to have been written without referencing and copying the story and scenes in Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars. Sanchez's book has a different character with a different destination, even a flight that closely parallels a Blue Origin spaceflight rather than a trip to Mars. But on the whole, Sanchez's book simply copies Zabel's story while implementing these simple changes. In doing so, Sanchez infringed Zabel's copyright in Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars. According to Alana, Lauren didn't just steal her idea, she did it like to mess with her. She says that Sanchez knew that Zabel would recognize that the story in The Fly Who Flew to Space was copied from Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars. Sanchez did this to exact revenge for the resentment Sanchez continued to feel towards Zabel. Another part about this that I love is that Alana claims that Lauren publicly said the book was inspired by her dyslexia.
So I grew up dyslexic, not knowing I had it. I couldn't read. I was a sweet little girl, and so I sat in the back of the class and they kind of like pushed me along.
But that nowhere in the book is dyslexia actually mentioned or explored. And according to Alana, Lauren did not just steal her book idea, she also tried to humiliate her by designing a Blue Origin spacesuit that would troll her. Alana says Sanchez decided on another way to exact revenge on and troll Zabel. Sanchez's flight with Blue Origin was, according to Blue Origin, its 11th human spaceflight. In each of the previous 10 human spaceflights, the astronauts aboard the spacecraft wore the same spacesuits, which had distinctive black bands at the elbows and knees, as well as a black stripe from the neck to shoulder. Even Jeff Bezos wore this spacesuit. And this Blue Origin spacesuit has the same appearance as the spacesuit worn by the astronauts in Sanchez's The Fly Who Flew to Space. According to Alana, the Katy Perry Lauren Sanchez spaceflight was another way for Lauren to troll Alana and try to get more revenge on her. Alana says that for Lauren's next spaceflight with Katy Perry, she designed a new spacesuit for herself and the other crew members on her flight to wear. The spacesuit would have a different look from the spacesuits worn by the crew members of all previous Blue Origin spaceflights. The spacesuit Sanchez designed instead closely resembles the spacesuit worn by the main character in Dharma Kitty Goes to Mars. On information and belief, Sanchez deliberately designed the spacesuits for her flight to resemble the spacesuit worn in Zabel's book. So let's look at them side by side. I mean, there is a distinctive belt there, and it's like more form-fitting than the ones worn by Jeff were, I guess. And if you pull up a picture of just like any other female astronaut, I mean, it's not form-fitting like that. It's like baggy. So I guess it's possible that that was taken from the Dharma Kitty book. Prior to Lauren's book coming out, Alana sent her a cease and desist, but Lauren's camp responded and said, while both books broadly concern an animal traveling to space, there is no other meaningful similarity between Miss Sanchez's book and yours. I also want to add that I did reach out to Alana and I said, girl, let's get you on my TikTok. I want to talk to you about this. And she was super gracious and nice and down to talk to me. But she said that she probably is not able to do a Zoom interview since obviously this concerns like ongoing litigation. Alana has also said in my TikTok comments that the rift is not over a dance battle. However, I'm reading directly from the complaint and the Boom Boom Pow incident is listed as the reason for the rift. rift between Alana and Lauren. Like, I'm not seeing any other reason why Lauren would have wanted to get revenge on her. So ultimately, I do think that the Boom Boom Pow incident is important in all this. And Alana is requesting a trial by jury. So if this thing goes to trial, it could be the new Gwyneth Paltrow ski trial. Who knows? Also, if you feel like you've heard about this whole saga before, it's because it has been going on for a little while now. In September 2024, that's when Zabel filed her first lawsuit in California. She ended up dismissing it because she was told that it needed to be filed in federal court. Then she asked for an extension, but Lauren wouldn't give it to her. And so basically through all of that, now she is filing the lawsuit again in federal court. And that's why we're hearing about all the Boom Boom Pow stuff now. I did ask Alana if she had any videos of that night at the birthday party, but she said that unfortunately she did not. This was back in 2009, so people weren't like recording everything. Alana does, however, have some dancing videos on her TikTok, and I mean, it looks like her moves are pretty good. I wasn't able to find a ton of Lauren out there.
High, medium, low, tap and tap and tap and tap.
Okay, one more time. I'm trying.
I think what we really need is a side-by-side of them both dancing to Boom Boom Pow to really figure out who danced better. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love the idea of YouTube because I'm obsessed with talking for a really long time, and on TikTok you can't do that as much, so I hope to do more of these very, very soon. Feel free to subscribe below for more videos just like this one.